Okay, so this is very important. It is currently 1:05 a.m. Central Standard Time here in North America. That means it is 10:05 a.m. in Moscow. In about 37 minutes from the time of making this video, hopefully I'm not talking that long because I know a lot of you got to get to work. And by the time you watch this video, it's not going to be until this morning, which is fine. Okay, this is still going to be very relevant to you this afternoon here in North America. Now, what's going to happen in Moscow in about half an hour is that every siren across the country, every television set that's on, and every smartphone is going to ring out in unison that this is a message from the emergency alert system. Do not panic. They're going to be doing a full-scale nationwide test of their emergency alert system equivalent that they have there. Now, when this happens, of course, this happening in of itself is very rare, okay, incredibly rare. In fact, this didn't really start happening in the United States and Russia until 2015 and 2020, respectively. 2015, the United States started doing it nationwide. They always had the emergency broadcast system, but then they switched over to the emergency alert to bring it to the digital age. Russia did it in 2020. That's saying a lot in and of itself, that it happened after the annexation of Crimea. But what's more important is the complete lack of coverage about the fact that both Russia and the United States are doing this on the very same day. Now, whether or not Russia is just mimicking the United States, because the United States was the first to announce that they were going to do this months ago, and then Russia spontaneously announced that they're going to do the same thing last week, also announcing that they're going to be doing some actual full-blown Mad Max post-apocalyptic nuclear war drills in the country that simulate 70% of the people dying and yada, yada, yada. Crazy stuff, okay? But that alone should be a story that is covered in depth, but nowhere aside some of the lesser-known mainstream media outlets do hear about it. Today, Reuters comes out with this little footnote about, oh yeah, Russia is sending out an emergency public warning test of their system and do not panic, blah, blah, blah. Like literally 12 hours before the event is going to happen. This is the biggest mainstream coverage I've seen of this event. Now ask yourself why that is. And ask yourself why Rolling Stone and many other mainstream media agencies, when they do try to cover this issue, here is what they say, okay? This is the story they want amplified. Anti-vaxxers think an emergency phone alert will cause a zombie apocalypse. They use all the buzzwords, conspiracy, paranoia, QAnon, blah, 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 zombie apocalypse. It's going to activate nanotech in your brain and, the whole 9 yards. This is the voice that they want to amplify to drown out the people who are highly suspicious, and rightly so, that this is an indication that things are escalating drastically around the world in terms of geopolitical tension. I mean, think about this. You have an incredibly rare event that is related, by and large, to preparing a country for nuclear war happening in the two most adversarial countries in the world right now, arguably, the ones who have the most nuclear weapons, and nobody is talking about the fact that both of those things are happening at the exact same time. They mention it, but nobody is doing any sort of analysis about that whatsoever. Why not? Because they don't want to sound the alarm. All they're trying to do is check a box. Because if the shit really does go down, people are going to want answers. And they're going to say, well, we tried to warn you. Right? Oh, yeah, sorry, we didn't do a more deeper dive analysis linking the two things together that would have communicated the severity of the situation for you. But, we warned you, right? So it's almost like they don't want people to panic, but they want to be able to say, I told you so. Now, I want to make it abundantly clear. I am in no way, shape, and form endorsing. I denounce these types of ideas and theories. All this does is give them ammunition to target people who are really, truly trying to rationally break down this situation and understand what is really going on for the greater good. Because when you have a continuity of government plan, when you have islands in South America, when you have a bug out location, you can afford bunkers, private jets and all that stuff. You don't care. At the end of the day, they do not care. In Russia, you can say that they're copying the United States in what they're doing. You can say that they're mimicking us and they're just doing this out of spite, running it on the same day out of spite. But at least they can say they have a plan for their population. It might not be the greatest plan, but at least they have a place where people can go so they have a chance of survival, okay? The Russians have been building out their bunker systems, building out their air defense all year, right in plain sight. You hear us talking about it. What are we doing here? Absolutely nothing. We're checking a box. But I'm going to tell you something right now. And that is that this is more than just, they're not doing this for us. And I know I'm sounding very cynical about the government here. And I think it's well earned at this point. This is a social experiment of sorts. They're running it during the middle of the day for a reason. For one, they probably want to test what the limits are of the system. They want to test it when the system is at its highest level of usage. So you don't want to do this in the middle of the night, even though that would be ideal, because you wouldn't disrupt everybody's day. You could still know if the signal went out to most people's phones, because there really is no feedback. Like, it's not like you get a message sent to you on your phone that says this is an emergency alert and they're going to ask you later, did you get the message? No, they know that metric of who got the message and who didn't. So they could theoretically do this at night. Nobody would be bothered. There would be no uptick in traffic accidents. Nobody would be freaking out in the middle of the day, which is going to happen. And if it doesn't, then, you know, that even raises more eyebrows. Because I do think, and keep this in mind, before I dive into this, guys, please stick with me. I know you got to go to work today. I hope you can listen to this in the car on the way to work. Back in the day, in the 1950s, there was less screens. There was less media in general. You maybe had a radio, you had a few channels on the television set. Chances are you would miss one of these messages, or one person on the block would have heard it. Nowadays, you know, media consumption is just, by the time you roll out of bed, you've already exposed yourself to many different forms of media. So are people just going to keep swiping? You know, and that's one of the concerns I think they might have, is that people are just not even going to care at all. That people are going to be like, okay, back to TikTok. That's a possibility. Anyways, I want you to take note of what happens during this social experiment. It's going to happen at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. Now, there's pros and cons to telling people the time. You don't want to tell the people the time, because if you do, then they expect it. Then it's not really a drill. You know, it's only a real fire drill if it catches you off guard, right? Which is why they don't usually announce fire drills. The guy does it, right? With the guy being me now, because I'm running the business here, so I'm the one who has to sporadically do fire drills. But they don't also want to not tell you, because then it would just be, it would be chaos. It would be pandemonium. People wouldn't even be able to make heads or tails of it. Lots of people would just jump off the deep end. Conspiracy theories abound that the government is hiding from some of us. They've already went to the bunkers, blah, 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 blah. This very well could. I want to make it clear. This could be it. Everything that has been preceding this, it's been a massive strategic buildup of force all around. Everything that you would think would happen before a nuclear war is currently in motion. I would not say that it's at sufficient levels yet, but a lot of necessary things have happened that would likely have to have happened before we go full-scale Armageddon. But the good thing is, I think it's going to take more. It's not just going to be immediate. One person uses a nuke and it's immediate escalation. We're going to have a couple days, maybe at least several hours, okay, to get ready. But pay attention to people's response. They're going to be, I'm guessing somebody somewhere is going to be collecting aggregate data from this. Not in the kind of brainwaves, zombie stuff. I'm talking about aggregate data, from the phones, from the users. Did people just swipe away? Did they make a call immediately afterwards? Did they look at their phone while they were driving? They'll use all the sensors on your phone. I don't know if that's even possible, and that's not the main point of this video, but I do believe that there'll be some accumulation of data from this test that is outside of whether or not the message just got through. Is there going to be car accidents? Is there going to be traffic congestion when everybody gets the message and looks at their phone at the same time, or hears it on the radio at the same time? What is the public's response going to be? This is a way to gauge it, Because understand, we've never been exposed to this before. And when that trenchant shrill of an emergency alert sound hits everybody's ears, they specifically design it to be one of the most annoying sounds that just gets under your skin, and the hair on the back of your neck is going to stand up, even if you know it's a test. And they want to see what people's reaction is going to be. So I think that's going to be 10:20 a.m. So by the time some of you get this video, it'll already have happened, maybe, in your neck of the woods, I would presume. So just keep that in mind, okay? Watch what other people are doing around you. What is their initial reaction to this? Is there panic? Is there just conformity, like I was talking about? And, you also have to gauge your own reaction to it. And really, this is the ultimate drill for preppers, especially the good old doomsday preppers like myself. I'm just going to own it, wear it as a badge of honor at this point of time. Conflict, climate, contagion, it's all going down. Watch your own reaction to it. What are your circumstances? And if you are in Canada, just note that on November 15th, we're going to be having our own drill, if I haven't reminded you that already. Typically, we have them twice a year. In the United States, this hasn't happened since I don't know when, and it didn't happen across the entire country the last time it happened. So this is the big one. What are your circumstances? Are you in traffic at the time? Are you in a place with a lot of people, a crowded place? You're far from your car. It's in a congested parking lot. Are you stuck in an elevator? Are you in an important meeting that would have you choose between whether or not you want to finish the meeting, or maybe worse, you're giving a presentation, okay? And who wants to check their phone during a presentation? Obviously, everybody's phone is going to go off at the same time. So I don't know what the protocol would be in that sort of situation, but be careful of conformity, because most people, because they don't want to look stupid, they're going to do something stupid. Don't be one of those people who doesn't want to do something stupid or doesn't want to look stupid and ends up doing something that's actually stupid, okay? And that would be disregarding the only thing that the government's going to do for you here in North America. It's not like Russia where they're building people bunkers, and actually in Russia's alert that they're sending out, they're directing people as to which bunker they should go to, the nearest one. Is ours going to do that? No. It's going to be like, hey, we told you so, but yeah, so good luck. Right? On a scale of 1 to 10, when it happens, ask yourself, how ready are you if it was about to go down? But before you do that, ask yourself, where are my family members right now? How fast could I get to them if I needed to get to them? This is the ultimate drill, because this puts you on the spot. It's never going to happen when you expect it, okay? And this is one of the things about preppers, we don't like unpredictable situations. We don't like leaving any things to chance. But ultimately, an event of this magnitude is just going to be sporadic. You're not going to be able to predict it down to the hour anyways, as we can see things are ratcheting up, so we know that the probability is increasing, but you don't know when it's actually going to happen. How much water do you have stored? If there was a high altitude electromagnetic pulse that was detonated over, several of them detonated over North America, and the electrical grid was compromised and the water pump stopped working, how much water would you have today? Okay, today, if you couldn't get home in time to fill up the bathtub and do all that other stuff we talk about. How much medication would you have? Are you on chronic medication? How much meds would you have? How long would it last? Do you think the supply chain is coming back for decades? Nope. Is there a tooth that you need to get pulled that you haven't gotten pulled yet that's going to abscess and infect? Is there a medical condition? Does somebody, do you have to go for an operation that you have scheduled? Do you just have big plans that you were, really excited about, and you need to really imagine that this is real world and you are not going to be able to do that, okay? Just think about, really use this as a drill, because this is how it's going to be. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but quite frankly, it could. The way things are going, there's a possibility at this point in time. There's just too much military activity, too much hot shit going around all over the place. I must make it clear, I don't think anything real. I don't think this is going to be real world. I'm just saying that this is just another checking the box in the run up to the real thing. So really use this as an opportunity to take stock, take inventory of what your current situation is, because it's going to catch you off guard, even if you know exactly when it's going to happen. And I'm sure they're going to, stagger it a little bit. Maybe it won't work. Maybe that will be the embarrassing thing, is that it's just not going to work. Okay. So anyways, I just wanted you guys to think about that. It being a social experiment, be mindful of other people when it goes down, watch how the media reports on it, and look at your own situation and where you are in that very moment when it goes down, because there's a very good chance that that's where you're going to be when the shit hits the fan. There's probably 3 places that you're likely going to be. You're going to be at home, you're going to be in bed, or you're going to be at work if you're a person who works. So, 8 hours of the day are split up: home, sleep, and at work. Chances are it's probably, you never know when it's going to, it could happen any hour of the night. So, but I would think that in order to do the most damage, I guess you could make the argument that doing it at night would cause even more damage, because then people wouldn't have no advance warning. But I think when it does escalate, it's not going to be, it is going to be a series of accidents that are not going to be strategically planned in advance to happen at a certain time. It's just going to be a bunch of shit's going to happen, and people are going to start a shooting match. So you might have realized that by the exit for this video, that was symbolic. Obviously, that was planned, because I just want to get people in that mindset, okay? Because this is an opportunity for everybody to practice what we preach. Please feel free in the comment section below, when you've had the drill run, leave your comments in the comment section, and maybe just give me, 5 or 6 things that came across your mind with respect to what I talked about. Like how prepared you were, where were you, what would some of the challenges have been in that particular situation to get yourself and your family to safety. I'm really interested in reading those comments, and hopefully we can do a dedicated follow-up video to this as we continue to prepare for what appears to be inevitable at this point. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Enjoy your day at work. It's going to be an interesting one.